In a viral video, a man places a seemingly lavish boxed meal in front of a dog, but after sniffing it, the dog walks away. The man then offers the dog instant noodles, which it eagerly devours. Netizens humorously dubbed the scene as China's modern-day Goubuli cuisine. Goubuli means meals that even dogs don't like. The reference to this wonderful Goubuli cuisine highlights a growing concern over food safety in the country. This incident sheds light on broader issues within China's food industry. In previous reports, numerous food safety jokes from 2024 were revealed, underscoring the severity of the situation, which has led several countries to implement strict policies banning Chinese food imports. As 2024 drew to a close, food safety scandals continued to surface in China. Examples include artificial pork cutlets disguised as chicken skin, lizards found in snack foods, and fake lamb skewers served at barbecue restaurants.
你在烧烤店里所吃到的羊排肉串都是真的。
Have you ever wondered if the lamb skewers you eat at Chinese barbecue joints are really lamb? After watching this video, you'll finally know what you're actually eating. First, thin slices of fresh lamb tail fat are prepared. Then, duck breast is cut open in the middle. The lamb tail fat and duck breasts are layered one by one, about 4 or 5 layers like you see in the video. At this point, you might be thinking, this doesn't really look like lamb, does it? Don't worry, keep watching. After stacking the duck and lamb tail fat, it's rolled tight in plastic wrap and put in the freezer for an hour. Once frozen, the fake lamb rack is taken out and cut into large pieces. Now you can really see how the texture closely resembles lamb. Then, the fake lamb chunks are skewered, and it looks even more convincing. Grill them until they change color, flip them, and once both sides are set, sprinkle barbecue seasoning, cumin, and chili powder. And there you have it. Eye-opening, isn't it?
On December 29, 2024, Chinese media reported a case involving restaurant owner by the surname of Pu in Leitu County, Sichuan Province. Pu had been adding poppy shells, a banned substance, to marinate pork, duck, and beef dishes at his restaurant. The total value of the tainted food sold reached 60,000 yuan. The incident dates back to June 7, 2022, when officials detected toxic substances such as morphine and cocaine in Pu's homemade marinade. By August of the same year, Pu was under investigation for producing and selling toxic food. However, it wasn't until January 18, 2024, that the prosecutor's office filed a civil public interest lawsuit. By February 29, Pu was only ordered to pay compensation of 60,000 yuan during mediation. These recurring incidents paint a grim picture for mainland Chinese citizens, reinforcing the belief that resolving food safety issues in the short term is unlikely. Neither unscrupulous merchants nor regulatory bodies seems deterred by public scrutiny, continuing to exploit toxic food products for profit. As the year-end approached in 2024, discussions on food safety gained traction across Chinese social media. Netizens exposed questionable industry practices and urged authorities to take stronger action. On December 11, 2024, a video by user GIA Finance Talk directly addressed top Chinese leaders, warning that if food safety continues to be overlooked and punitive measures remain superficial, China risks self-destruction without external threats. By December 17th, in Hunan province, a snack brand, La Langue, displayed banners calling for harsher penalties, even suggesting that death penalty for severe food safety violations. A caption accompanied the video read, "Food safety is paramount. I speak up for food safety." On December 25th, a Zhejiang-based blogger and founder of the Grassroots Food Safety Alliance took to the streets with a banner calling for vigorous food safety checks and opposing pre-packaged meals in schools. The next day, in Shanghai, a female community food center worker named Mary held up a sign emphasizing that food safety is a shared responsibility, describing it as more important than Mount Tai. On December 28th, a Hunan-based vlogger known as Orange Brother Talks Food Safety echoed similar calls for accountability. That same day, a Guangdong woman, Fu Gui Ping An, staged a street protest with banners demanding thorough inspections of ingredient list and strict oversight of food safety. Her accompanying message resonated widely. She said in the video, "If I can awaken even one person, it's worth it. Even if just one person supports me, it matters." Netizens flooded these posts with support, voicing frustration over the lack of action. One commentator noted, "Enough is enough. They're toying with our health and even jeopardizing the next generation. Without health, how can we talk about serving the country or building a future?" Another, identified as Xing Yu from Guangdong, called for tougher legislation and nationwide inspections by experts, emphasizing the need for continuous and extensive publicity campaigns. Despite the public outcry, the Chinese government has remained silent, prompting further criticism. One user questioned the authorities' indifference, saying,
I can't help but wonder. Everyone's talking about food safety online, but why isn't anyone stepping up to do something about it? Are the voices of ordinary people really going unheard? Why is that?
Some netizens believe that the root cause behind the persistent food safety issues in China lies with the government. One commentator stated, "If the government wanted to solve this, it wouldn't be difficult. The problem is they don't intend to fix it. Without food safety problems, you wouldn't see streets lined with pharmacies, nor hospitals busier than shopping malls. Pharmaceutical companies and hospitals would collapse. Behind these lies, the profiteering from the 1.4 billion people. With such massive profits at stake, it's unlikely the issue will ever be fully resolved." This perspective highlights a rarely acknowledged view that food safety concerns help sustain the prosperity of the medical industry.
You never imagine why we can't seem to fix our food safety issue at the root. The chairman of an American Food Processing Association once said that the companies producing food additives in the medical industry are backed by the same capital group. They produce all these additives just to create a steady stream of chronically ill patients for hospitals. Listen carefully, 2,397 types of food additives. After consuming these, chronic illnesses start developing over the years. And when you go to the hospital for treatment, you'll find that the ones making money are all under the same umbrella. Here's another figure. It takes 5 years to cultivate a cardiovascular patient, 7 years for a diabetes patient, and the longest, 10 years, for a cancer patient. So do you still dare to eat food with additives?
In China's authoritarian system, the largest economic player is the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP. With the economy slowing and government debt rising, sources of revenue like the food and pharmaceutical sectors become increasingly critical. Cracking down on food safety violations is resource-intensive, while turning a blind eye generates greater profits. As a result, lenient penalties and fines are unsurprising. According to a report on December 23, 2024 by Chinese state media, the National Market Regulation Conference concluded that overall safety for the 3 products and 1 special remained stable. This refers to food, pharmaceuticals, key industry products, and special equipment. The report claimed that a 99.2% pass rate for food safety inspections, with an improvement in the quality of meat, seafood, and vegetables. The pharmaceutical pass rate was reportedly over 99%. At the same conference, officials declared that China has the world's strictest food regulatory system. A Guangdong netizen sarcastically responded, "If you lower the standard, of course everything passes." According to the skepticism, on January 3rd, CCTV reported that recent food safety inspections by the State Administration for Market Regulation found 31 out of 1,588 food samples failed tests, contradicting the government's claimed 99% pass rate. This discrepancy drew widespread attention online. The reason for non-compliance included excessive food additives, inaccurate labeling, microbial contamination, pesticide residues, heavy metal pollution, and organic pollutants. Products such as seafood, buns, snacks, and sauces were found with excessive additives, while some items contained E. coli and toxic substances. 2 months earlier, marketing experts and mobile marketing pioneer Hua Hongbing warned in a viral speech that by 2040, 1/3 of Chinese people would develop cancer due to food safety issues. Citing alarming data from the 2024 Lingnan Science Forum, Hua predicted that by 2040, China's cancer cases will reach 400 million out of a projected 1.2 billion population. He said that in 15 years, 1 out of 3 family members will be a cancer patient. In his speech, Hua said supermarkets and malls are emptier, while hospitals are overcrowded. Bread, prepared foods, drinks, fruit, snacks, even flour for steamed buns. Nothing sells because they're packaged with preservatives, additives, hormones, and chemicals. There's no escaping it. To address the crisis, Hua proposed creating a national food blacklist. Those who produce or sell fake or toxic food should be banned from society. No accommodation, no food, no highway access. Isolate them completely. Only then can we stop the harm at its roots. In a separate interview, Li Hengqing, a scholar at the Washington-based Institute for Information and Strategy, echoed these concerns. He cited the infamous melamine-tainted milk scandal as a long-standing example of China's food safety issue. Li noted that deteriorating economic conditions have exacerbated the problem. Li said the business environment is tough and companies, whether in dining or food production, are cutting costs. They have no bottom line. Discussing pre-packaged meals, Li observed, not all pre-made meals are bad, but many use expired meat and vegetables to save money. Some meat may be 10 or 20 years old. It won't kill you immediately, but it's unsafe and unhealthy. Who oversees this? Referring to the CCP reported 99.2% pass rate, Li remarked that based on a minuscule sample size of 0.8%, no wonder people don't believe it. He suggested that the government fabricates reassuring statistics to encourage consumption. To the CCP, citizens are not individuals but economic units that drive GDP. If people stop buying and start cooking at home, the economy suffers. A scenario the government cannot allow, so they tell you the food is safe, hoping you will keep spending. Li further pointed out that the entire Chinese society, including the public, is caught in a spiral of internal competition. The whole country is unwell, and that's the government's fault. After 70 years of governance, they've never addressed the structural problems. This systematic failure is what led to widespread food safety issues. A popular phrase circulating on Chinese websites read, "Without food safety, the entire population is being poisoned." Some netizens argue that the Chinese government's leniency towards food safety violations effectively enables widespread poisoning and systemic harm among the population. Certain societal trends and government policies appear to reflect this reality. For instance, many companies in China reportedly consider laying off employees as they reach 35, often citing diminishing productivity. Additionally, around New Year's Day 2025, the CCP announced plans to gradually raise the retirement age and extend the required years for pensions contribution. Critics suggest this move not only increases the public's financial burden, but also capitalizes on the assumption that few people will live long enough to collect their pensions due to the severity of ongoing food safety issues. A human rights lawyer from Henan speaks to Western media, describes China's food safety standards as potentially the worst in the world. He said, there are far too many banned substances used, from street vendors to major food manufacturers. By the standards of developed countries or democratic nations, much of its food would be deemed inedible. Pesticides, additives, and hormones are frequently overused in agriculture and livestock production. This is widely known. Even the transportation of cooking oil faces major issues. In general, China's food is likely among the world's worst. He noted that prepackaged meals in restaurants reflect the same issue. He said, these meals are either frozen for excessive periods or loaded with preservatives. They lack nutritional value and consumers rarely receive fresh food. Prepackaged meals are now commonplace across the restaurant industry. In his view, even countries with fewer resources such as North Korea or parts of Africa may offer safer food compared to China. He said while these regions may lack materials, their food isn't as inundated with additives and preservatives as China's. Despite the appearance of abundance in China, the excess use of chemicals and preservatives makes food highly unsafe. The lawyer expressed a stark perspective on China's food landscape, stating, anyone with sound judgment knows that Chinese food is problematic. Toxic substances and hazardous additives frequently exceed safe limits. With polluted air and contaminated food, the overall environment reflects a lack of care for public well-being. Corruption and political indifference further contribute to the decline of industries and public services, making broad solutions nearly impossible. He emphasized that China's widespread social and moral decline fosters corruption across industries, driven by profit at the expense of safety and ethics. He concluded this is why the issue persists. The collapse of integrity across sectors reflect the erosion of social morality, with no boundaries left to safeguard public health.